Take me home. Don't let anyone else see. At the company's annual party, the aloof tech director, Su Wanqing, collapsed drunk in my arms, her suit collar slightly open, her pinned-up hair falling loose. As a junior employee just past probation, I should have refused this ambiguous request, but somehow, inexplicably, I helped her into a taxi. And when she put that lock-shaped necklace with a GPS tracker on me, I finally understood. She had been controlling this game of love all along. The company's annual party was held at the Shangri-La Hotel. Clutching half a glass of orange juice, I hid in a corner, watching my colleagues dancing wildly on the dance floor. As a programmer who had just passed probation 3 months ago, I always avoided these kinds of occasions if I could. Chungamo, why are you hiding here again? Go toast the bosses, especially the new tech director. I hear she's really strict. I shook my head. Forget it. I'm allergic to alcohol. Actually, I'm just not good at socializing. My gaze drifted unconsciously to the main table, where the legendary tech director, Su Wanqing, was surrounded by several department managers offering toasts. She wore a sharply tailored black skirt suit, her long hair meticulously pinned up. Even amidst the clinking glasses and conversation, she maintained an elegant posture. I heard Director Su is only 29, Stanford PhD, 7-figure salary. The company paid a fortune to poach her from Silicon Valley. Even the CEO treats her politely. Just as I was about to respond, I suddenly heard a commotion from the main table. Su Wanqing stood up, her face flushed, her steps clearly unsteady. She pushed away colleagues who tried to support her and walked alone towards the restrooms. She's had too much to drink, hasn't she? Zhang Ming said. I frowned. From a medical perspective, those were clearly early signs of alcohol poisoning. My father is an emergency room doctor, and growing up hearing about it made me particularly sensitive to these symptoms. I'll go check. I put down my glass and followed. The corridor outside the restrooms was dimly lit. I saw Su Wanqing leaning against the wall, her body swaying precariously. She had unbuttoned her collar, her pinned-up hair falling loose, looking completely different from her decisive, efficient daytime image. Director Su, are you all right? I took a couple of steps forward, hesitating whether to offer support. She turned her head, her gaze unfocused, but a flicker of sharpness crossed her eyes the moment she recognized me. You are Cheng Mo from Tech Team 3. I was surprised she actually remembered the name of a junior employee like me. Before I could answer, she suddenly covered her mouth. I quickly supported her and rushed towards the restroom. 10 minutes later, I stood outside the women's restroom, listening to the sounds of vomiting from inside, so embarrassed my toes curled. When the cleaning lady passed by, she gave me a strange look. I could only bite the bullet and explain, my colleague drank too much. I'm waiting for her. Finally, Su Wanqing stumbled out, her makeup smudged, but her eyes somewhat clearer. She clearly paused for a moment when she saw I was still there. Thank you. Her voice was hoarse. Could I trouble you to take me home? I don't want anyone else to see me like this. I nodded, went to the banquet hall to get her bag and coat, and messaged Zhang Ming, saying I was leaving early. The ride-hailing app showed a 20-minute wait. Seeing her pale face, I decisively opted to hail a taxi instead. In the taxi, Su Wanqing gave the address of an upscale residential complex and then leaned against the window, closing her eyes to rest. I sat on the other side, trying to minimize my presence. The faint scent of her perfume mixed with the smell of alcohol was, strangely, not unpleasant. About today, she suddenly began. I won't tell anyone, I immediately assured her. She chuckled lightly. I'm not worried about that. I wanted to say, thank you for not trying to curry favor like the others might have. I didn't know how to respond, so I remained silent. The taxi stopped at the entrance of the complex. I helped her out, but she stumbled and nearly fell. Instinctively, I wrapped my arm around her waist to steady her, instantly feeling the warmth and curve of her body. Take me upstairs, she whispered in my ear, her warm breath brushing against my earlobe. I live on the 28th floor. In the elevator, neither of us spoke. She leaned against my shoulder, strands of her hair tickling my neck. I stared at the rapidly changing floor numbers, my heart beating faster and faster. Room 2802. I helped her find the key in her bag, and, after opening the door, I fumbled for the light switch. The apartment was decorated in a simple yet exquisite style, with black, white, and gray as the main colors. Sharp and neat, just like her. Can you give me a glass of water? She kicked off her high heels and collapsed onto the sofa. I found a glass in the open-plan kitchen and made a cup of honey water using honey from the fridge. When I returned to the living room, she had already taken off her suit jacket. The white blouse underneath was unbuttoned by 2 buttons, revealing a delicate collarbone. Here, I handed her the glass, deliberately avoiding her gaze. She took the glass, her fingertips brushing unintentionally against the back of my hand, like an electric current. You're more considerate than you seem. She sipped slowly. Everyone at the company thinks I'm made of iron. Only you know I can get drunk too. I stood beside the sofa, feeling awkward and unsure what to do. Director Sue, if there's nothing else, I should probably... Call me Wanqing. She put down the glass. In private? I froze. She looked up at me, her gaze no longer sharp, but softened with a hazy tenderness. In that moment, I saw the side of her beneath the armor. It's late, I should go. I took a step back. Suddenly, she reached out and grabbed my tie. The pull wasn't strong, but it was enough to make me lean down. Our faces were inches apart. I could smell the alcohol on her breath. Stay. Her voice was soft, yet left no room for refusal. Just for tonight. Chapter 2. Special attention. Monday morning, I walked into the office with dark circles under my eyes, the memory of last night feeling as unreal as a dream. Suwankin. No, Director Sue had reverted to her usual unapproachable demeanor. At the morning meeting, she assigned tasks strictly according to business, without giving me so much as an extra glance. Chingmo, you look terrible. Zhang Ming leaned in. Nothing happened when you took Director Sue home on Saturday, right? I nearly choked on my coffee. What could happen? I just dropped her off and left. Good. Zhang Ming lowered his voice. I heard Xiao Wang from marketing tried to pursue her last week, and the next day he was transferred to the Xinjiang branch. My heart tightened. I remembered the lingering kiss on her sofa Saturday night, and the words she'd whispered in my ear, "You're mine now." At the time, I thought it was just drunken talk, but now I was starting to wonder. During lunch break, I was queuing in the cafeteria when Li Jie from admin suddenly approached me. Cheng Yemo, Director Sue wants to see you in her office. My heart instantly sped up. A few colleagues nearby cast curious glances my way. I forced myself to remain calm and put down my tray. Right now? Yes, she said it's urgent. I took the elevator to the executive floor. My palms were sweating as I knocked on her door. Come in. Her cold voice came through. I pushed the door open and went in. Su Wanqing was frowning at her computer screen. Sunlight streamed through the floor-to-ceiling windows, outlining her perfect silhouette. She looked up at me, her gaze as sharp as a knife. Lock the door, she said. I hesitated for a moment, then did as she asked. The moment the lock clicked shut, her expression suddenly softened, and the corners of her mouth lifted into a sweet curve. Momo, come here. Her voice was gentle, completely different from moments before. I stood rooted to the spot. Director Sue, this is the office. What did you call me? She narrowed her eyes. Wanqing, I yielded. This isn't appropriate. She stood up and walked towards me, her heels making almost no sound on the carpet. She reached out to straighten my crooked tie, her movements as gentle as if handling a treasure. I missed you, she whispered. I started missing you the moment you left on Saturday. My throat tightened. That was just a moment of impulse, she finished for me, her fingers sliding to the first button of my collar. Then why didn't you wash off my lipstick mark? Only then did I notice a faint red smudge on the inside of my white shirt collar. I gotten home too late on Saturday, just tossed the shirt in the laundry basket, and then slept through most of Sunday, completely forgetting about it. Shoo. She pressed her index finger to my lips. I don't care about excuses. What's important is, you're mine now, right? It wasn't a question. Her eyes told me there was only one correct answer. Right? I heard myself say. She smiled, satisfied, and took a thermal lunchbox from her desk drawer. Lunch for you. The cafeteria food isn't nutritious. I took the lunchbox. It felt heavy. You made this yourself? She sat back in her chair, her businesslike expression returning. You can go now, Cheng Yemo. Don't be late for the tech department meeting at 2. Holding the lunchbox, I walked out of the office feeling like I was in a dream. Back at my desk, Zhang Ming immediately leaned over. "What did Director Su want with you?" "Something about the project." I answered evasively, opening the lunchbox. Inside was an exquisite Japanese bento, with a smiley face made of black sesame seeds on the rice. In the following days, Su Wanqing maintained her image as a cool, powerful woman at the company, but her private special attention towards me increased. Every morning, a pour-over coffee would appear on my desk, just the right temperature. Every Friday afternoon, she'd find some excuse to call me into her office, lock the door, and demand a kiss. My work performance was suddenly praised frequently, and even my year-end performance review seemed predetermined for excellence. "This isn't fair," I told her during one lunch break. "Other colleagues work much harder than I do." We were sitting in her car. She insisted on driving me home every day, even though we lived in completely opposite directions. Her fingers turning the steering wheel were long and fair. Her nails painted a subtle nude shade. "The world isn't fair," she chuckled lightly. "My preference for you. That's the greatest fairness there is. But I rely on my skills." "Of course I know your skills," she interrupted. "Your code is the most elegant I've ever seen, just like you." She glanced at me. "But skill is just the entry ticket. My preference for you is the real reward." I was speechless. Her logic was terrifyingly self-consistent, impossible to refute. The car stopped in front of the old, run-down residential complex where I rented. She frowned at the mottled walls. "Move in with me." "It's too fast." I shook my head. "We've only known each other for 2 months." 2 months and 7 days, she corrected, counting from the day of the annual party. She reached out and caressed my face. "Besides, I know who you text every night, who you video call. What do you think there is that I don't know about you?" A chill went down my spine. "You're monitoring me?" "Caring," she corrected with a smile. "As natural as you caring about my schedule." I did often check her meeting schedule on the company's internal system, but that was just. "Wait, how did she know?" "You installed monitoring software on my computer?" The realization hit me. She smiled without answering, just leaned in and gave me a light peck on the lips. "Good night, Momo. See you tomorrow." When I got home, I immediately did a thorough check on my computer and phone, but found no suspicious programs. Either her methods were too sophisticated, or I was just being paranoid. Lying in bed, thinking back over every little detail of the past 2 months, I suddenly came to a horrifying realization. My understanding of her was limited to the parts she wanted me to know, while her understanding of me likely far exceeded my imagination. My phone vibrated. It was a message from her. "Remember to drink milk before bed. That carton in your fridge is almost expired. The fresh milk I put in last Friday is on the second shelf." I rushed to the kitchen and opened the fridge. It was exactly as she said. A chill ran up my spine from the soles of my feet. Last Friday, that was the first time she had come over to my place to visit, and I had only left for 5 minutes to go downstairs and pick up takeout. The company's annual team-building event was held at a hot spring resort on the outskirts. On the bus, Zhang Ming excitedly planned the werewolf game for that night, while I stared distractedly at the message on my phone screen. Su Wanqing had sent it 10 minutes ago. "I'm waiting for you in room 310. Make sure no one sees you." Ever since I discovered she might be monitoring me, I had deliberately kept some distance for a while, but she always found ways to get close to me like this instance. "Ching and Mo, why have you been so distracted lately?" Zhang Ming nudged me. "You haven't fallen in love, have you?" "Nothing like that." I put away my phone. "Just a bit tired." "True. Director Su has really been piling the work on you lately." Zhang Ming lowered his voice. "But the strange thing is she berates the entire department, but she's only pleasant to you. There are rumors that you two." "What are you talking about?" My voice suddenly rose, drawing glances from a few colleagues in the front rows. I lower my voice. "Those kinds of rumors can be deadly." Zhang Ming shut up sheepishly. I leaned back against the seat, closing my eyes. My relationship with Su Wanqing was indeed becoming increasingly difficult to explain. The special treatment she gave me was too obvious, and my own deference to her was just as abnormal. The resort setting was beautiful, the rooms Japanese style, with tatami mats. During room assignments, Li Jie from admin specifically put me in a single room. Director Su requested it, she said meaningfully. She said, "You've been working a lot of overtime lately, and need a proper rest. During the afternoon free time, I pretended to take a walk, making sure no one was watching, then slipped into the main building elevator. 310 was a luxury suite on the top floor. I stood before the door, took a deep breath, and knocked. The door opened almost immediately. Su Wanqing was wearing a white bathrobe, her hair slightly damp, evidently having just finished a soak in the hot spring. She pulled me into the room and locked the door behind us. "Miss me?" She wrapped her arms around my neck, the lapels of her robe slightly parted. I stood stiffly. "Wanqing, we need to talk." "Talk about what?" she asked, raising an eyebrow, her fingers playing with the buttons on my shirt. "About boundaries." I grabbed her restless hand, installing surveillance on my computer, tracking my movements. "This goes beyond normal boundaries." Her expression grew cold. "So, you came here to accuse me?" "I came to talk about a healthy way for us to interact." I tried to remain calm. "Where is the line between caring and control?" "Boundaries?" She gave a short laugh, suddenly shoved me against the wall, one hand bracing against my chest. "Chung Mo, from the moment you walked into my life, there have been no boundaries between us." Her gaze reminded me of a predator locking onto its prey. Only then did I realize I might have seriously underestimated the extent of her obsession. "This isn't right." I tried to push her away, but she grabbed my wrists and pinned them against the wall. "Shoo," she whispered, leaning close to my ear, her breath hot. "Do you know why I like you? Because you're different from the others. They either covet my power or fear my temper. Only you." Her lips brushed against my earlobe. "Only you see the real me, and yet you still dare to resist." This wasn't the Su Wanqing I knew. The calm, composed, powerful woman from the company seemed like a different person now, a dangerous fire burning in her eyes. "Wanqing, you're hurting me," I said softly. She immediately released her grip, a flicker of panic in her expression. "Sorry, I didn't mean." She took a step back, the sleeve of her bathrobe slipping down, revealing several faint scars on her wrist. I grabbed her wrist. "What are these?" She snatched her hand back abruptly, pulling the sleeve down. "Just old scars." Turning towards the floor-to-ceiling window, she said, "You should go. The team-building event is about to start." I didn't move. "Did you used to—" I said go. She suddenly raised her voice, her shoulders trembling slightly. I hesitated for a moment, then walked toward the door. As my hand rested on the doorknob, her vulnerable voice came from behind me. "Momo, don't hate me." In that moment, my heart felt like it was being squeezed. I turned, walked back, and gently hugged her from behind. Her body tensed up, then slowly relaxed, leaning into my embrace. "I won't hate you," I said softly. "But you need help, Wanqing. Those scars." "It was from college," she murmured. "Back then, I was very lonely." I tightened my arms, holding her closer. Sunlight streamed through the curtains, casting our overlapping shadows on the floor. "I'll be here for you," I said. "But you have to promise me you won't hurt yourself anymore, and you'll stop monitoring me. We need to build healthy trust, okay?" She was silent for a long time before finally nodding lightly. "I'll try." Her answer didn't completely reassure me, but it was a start. I kissed the top of her head. "Want to come to Werewolf tonight?" Zhang Ming organized it. She turned in my arms, her usual proud and teasing expression back in place. "Only if you beg me." "I'm begging you." I readily complied. She smiled, that sweet yet dangerous smile. "All right, seeing as you're so sincere." That evening at the Werewolf game, Su Wanqing's appearance made everyone nervous. She casually sat down next to me, taking my hand under the table. "Director Su plays Werewolf too?" Zhang Ming asked timidly. "Why? Am I not allowed?" She raised an eyebrow. "Of course you can." Zhang Ming immediately backed down. "It's just a bit surprising." After the game started, Su Wanqing displayed astonishing acting and deduction skills, leading the villagers to victory for 3 consecutive rounds. Everyone gradually relaxed, and the atmosphere became lively. "Last round," Zhang Ming announced. "Let's spice things up this time. The loser has to do truth or dare." In this round, Su Wanqing drew the werewolf card, while I was a god roll, unaware of her identity. When she killed me during the night phase, her finger traced a suggestive circle on my palm. After daybreak, she perfectly disguised herself as the seer, leading the werewolf team to victory. As the loser, I had to accept the consequence. Truth or dare? Zhang Ming asked with a mischievous grin. I glanced at Su Wanqing. A dangerous glint shone in her eyes. Dare. I chose decisively, preferring she give me a difficult task rather than answer personal questions in front of everyone. All right then. Zhang Ming looked around. Pick someone of the opposite sex present, carry them princess style, and do 10 squats. Our colleagues started hooting and cheering. I scanned the room. Besides Su Wanqing, the other people of the opposite sex were either married or significantly older. This was basically an impossible dare. I choose Director Su, I said, bracing myself. The room instantly fell silent. Su Wanqing stood up gracefully. My honor. As I bent down and lifted her into my arms, I heard someone gasp. She was lighter than I imagined, the faint scent of her perfume drifting into my nostrils. With every squat, she counted softly near my ear, her warm breath making my ear burn. After 10, I quickly put her down, my forehead already beaded with sweat. She smoothed her skirt, sat back down in her seat as if nothing had happened, but under the table, her hand firmly grasped mine. On the bus ride back after the team building event, she insisted on sitting with me. Our other colleagues tactfully avoided our row, and a strange silence filled the bus. Are you happy? She asked me in a low voice. Yes, I nodded. You play well. I play everything well, she said confidently, her finger tracing circles on my palm, including games of love. I turned my head to look at her. She was gazing out the window at the night scenery, her profile softening in the flickering streetlights. In that moment, I suddenly understood that no matter how many dangerous sides she had, I could no longer let her go. Wanqing, I called her softly. Let's be official. She turned her head. Her eyes sparkled in the darkness. I thought we already were. She leaned against my shoulder. But since you've officially asked, okay. The bus drove into the night. I held her hand tightly, knowing that from now on, our lives would be intertwined. And perhaps this was what I deeply desired. Monday morning after the team building event, the company elevator was packed with bleary-eyed employees. I stood in the corner, and my phone vibrated. Good morning, Momo. Coffee's on your desk. The blue shirt looks good on you today. From Su Wanqing. I subconsciously touched the blue shirt I was wearing. The hair on the back of my neck prickled. How did she know what I was wearing today? There are no cameras outside my apartment. The elevator stopped at the tech department floor. Just as I stepped out, Zhang Ming sidled up conspiratorially. Cheng Mo, you and Director Su. Are you too? You know. What are you talking about? I feigned ignorance, but my heart hammered. Stop pretending. The whole company's talking about what happened at the team building event. Zhang Ming lowered his voice. Little Wong from admin said she saw you two kissing in the hot spring area. I nearly choked. Nonsense. Just asking. Zhang Ming mumbled, walking away awkwardly. I walked to my desk, and sure enough, there was a steaming latte. Next to it sat a blueberry muffin, the flavor I'd casually mentioned liking last week. Tucked under the cup was a note. Come to my office at 3 p.m. today. There's a surprise. Q. Q was what she called herself. The first letter of Qing in pinyin. I put the note away, opened my computer, and discovered a strange new folder on my desktop, named with a heart symbol. Clicking it open, my blood ran cold. Inside were my browsing history, chat logs, and even call recordings from the past 3 months. Like my gift. A message popped up on the company's internal messaging system. Zenda, Ku. My fingers trembled as I typed back. What is this? Did you hack my computer? Just a way to get to know you better. Now I know you like watching kitten videos to de-stress. Video call your mom every Friday night. And she sent a winking emoji. You have pictures of me saved in your phone album. I immediately checked my phone's photo album. Sure enough, in a hidden album, I found over a dozen photos of her, some clearly taken from candid angles. I had absolutely no memory of saving them. As I reeled from the shock, another message popped up. Don't be nervous. I sent those photos to you. My Momo is so shy. He'd never take pictures of me himself. I took a deep breath and replied, Wanqing, we need to talk. This is an invasion of privacy. Privacy, she replied. There shouldn't be secrets between lovers. See you at 3, Don't forget, I was restless the entire morning. At lunchtime, I deliberately went to a restaurant near the company I'd never visited before, but just as I was about to order, I received a message from her. Their beef curry is too spicy. Your stomach can't handle it. Order the chicken and mushroom. I abruptly looked up and scanned my surroundings, but didn't see any sign of her. The waiter looked at me strangely. Sir, have you decided? Chicken and mushroom, I guess, I stammered. Just as the food arrived, a man in a sharp suit sat down opposite me. Mr. Chungemo, I'm Lawyer Chun, Miss Sue's private legal counsel. I cautiously put down my fork. What is it? He pushed a document towards me. This is a non-disclosure agreement. Miss Sue wishes for you to sign it, regarding your relationship and the private information you might come into contact with. I opened the document. The clauses were densely packed, the core content prohibiting me from disclosing details of my relationship with Sue Wanqing in any form, with breach penalties amounting to 7 figures. This is too much. I closed the document. We're just dating, not involved in corporate espionage. Lawyer Chun remained expressionless. Miss Sue said you would say that. She asked me to relay a message. Sign it. And tonight, I'll tell you the story of the scars on my wrist. My hand holding the pen froze. That rainy night at the hot spring resort, those faint scars on her wrist had always been a knot in my heart. Finally, I signed the document. A wise choice. Lawyer Chun collected the document. By the way, Miss Sue has scheduled a psychological counseling session for you tomorrow at 3 p.m. The address will be sent to your phone. She said, you seem quite anxious lately. After the lawyer left, I finished my lunch without tasting anything. On the way back to the company, I kept feeling like someone was following me, but every time I turned around, I only saw hurried passersby. At exactly 3 p.m., I knocked on Sue Wanqing's office door. Come in, her cold voice came. I pushed the door open and went in. She was on the phone and gestured for me to sit down first. Sunlight streamed through the floor-to-ceiling windows, illuminating her and outlining her perfect side profile. She was wearing deep red lipstick today, like a rose with thorns. After hanging up, she locked the door, her expression instantly shifting from the aloof director to a girl head over heels in love. Momo, she trotted over and threw herself into my arms. I miss you like crazy. Her perfume lingered around me. I instinctively hugged her back but felt a sense of discord. Wanqing, the photos, the monitoring software, the NDA. This is too much. She took a step back, her eyes dimming. Do you hate me now? It's not hate. I chose my words carefully. I just need some space for a normal relationship. Space, she sneered. The kind of space like you having lunch with that intern from marketing last Friday. My scalp tingled. How did you? That was just a work handover. Does a work handover require going to a couple's restaurant? She narrowed her eyes. She even touched your hand. That was an accident. I finally couldn't hold back anymore. Wanqing, are you stalking me? She turned towards the floor-to-ceiling windows, her back suddenly looking vulnerable. I'm just afraid of losing you. Her voice was almost inaudible. Every time you're out of my sight, I worry you won't come back. I walked up behind her and gently held her. I'm right here. I won't leave. She turned around, a dangerous glint in her eyes. Then prove it to me. How do I prove it? She pulled open a desk drawer and took out an exquisite silver necklace with a small lock pendant. Wear it, she said. I had this custom made. It has GPS tracking inside. I took a step back. This? Didn't you say you wouldn't leave? She stepped closer. Then let me be able to find you anytime. Looking at her stubborn eyes, I suddenly understood this wasn't ordinary possessiveness. Sue Wanqing's psychological state was far more complex than I had imagined. Finally, I lowered my head and let her put the necklace on me. The moment the cool metal touched my skin, I felt a strange sense of peace, as if being marked as property actually lessened the pressure. Good. She smiled with satisfaction, kissing my forehead. Now my gift. She took a velvet box from the drawer. Inside was a pair of cufflinks, small black onyx, engraved on the inside with the date we met. It took a month to have them custom-made, she said playfully. Do you like them? They're beautiful, thank you. I forced a smile. But Wanqing, we need to set some boundaries. Shoo. She pressed her index finger to my lips. Come to my place tonight. I'll cook for you and then. She leaned close to my ear, her warm breath making me shiver all over. I'll tell you the story of those scars. After work, I rode in her Porsche to her apartment. On the way, she held my hand the entire time, stealing kisses on my cheek at red lights, like a normal girl deeply in love. It was hard to imagine this was the same person who had been monitoring my every move that morning. Her apartment was as tidy as ever. Only now the dining table had 2 candles and a bottle of red wine. Sit. She took off her suit jacket, rolled up her shirt sleeves, revealing the scars on her wrists. It's just the 2 of us tonight. I noticed she used the word just as if no one else in the world existed. When she was cooking, I tried to help, but she shooed me out of the kitchen. You don't have to do anything today. Just watch me. Dinner was perfect: pan-seared salmon, asparagus salad, and cream of mushroom soup, all my favorite flavors. The red wine was mellow, the candlelight flickered. She talked about company projects and future plans, but her eyes remained locked on me, as if I were the center of her universe. Now, she put down her wine glass, unfastened her cuffs, and slowly rolled up her sleeves, the story you wanted to know. In the candlelight, those small, white scars were even more distinct, arranged with unnerving neatness. She calmly recounted, "My senior year of college, my first love betrayed me. He stole my research data and got together with my best friend. I held my breath. Back then, I felt like my whole world had collapsed." She gently stroked the scars. "These were the first lesson I learned. Love hurts, but the pain woke me up." I reached out, wanting to touch those scars, but she pulled away. "Don't pity me, Momo. These scars made me who I am today." Her eyes sharpened. "So I will never let anyone hurt me again, nor will I let anything that's mine be taken away." "I'm not your thing," I said softly. She smiled, that chillingly sweet smile. "Of course not, darling. You're my lover." She raised her glass. "To us." I mechanically clinked glasses with her. The red wine suddenly tasted bitter. When I left that night, she gave me a lingering kiss at the door, then whispered in my ear, "Remember, Momo, only I have the key to the lock around your neck." In the taxi home, I touched the small, lock-shaped pendant, suddenly realizing I might have fallen into a sweet trap I couldn't escape. But what was more frightening was discovering that I didn't want to escape as much as I probably should. Saturday morning, I was jolted awake by the doorbell. Through the peephole, I saw Su Wanqing standing outside, holding a breakfast bag and 2 cups of coffee. I glanced at my phone, 7:30 in the morning, Saturday. After I opened the door, she swept in like a gust of wind, planting a minty kiss on me before I was fully awake. "Morning, Sleeping Beauty. So early." I rubbed my eyes. "Missed you." She placed breakfast on the coffee table. "Besides, we're going somewhere today." She was dressed casually in jeans and a white t-shirt, her hair tied in a ponytail, looking like a college student. The contrast momentarily dazed me. Was the usually aloof director and this lively girl before me really the same person? "Where?" I asked warily. "Surprise." She winked. "Go wash up quickly. I brought clothes for you." Sure enough, her bag contained a set of casual clothes in my size. Even the underwear and socks were new. I took the clothes into the bathroom, instinctively reaching to lock the door, only to find a lock cylinder had been removed. "Wanqing." I poked my head out. "The lock on my bathroom door. I broke it last time I was here." She was setting out the breakfast, not looking up. Lovers don't need locks between them. I opened my mouth to protest, but then I saw her look up, her gaze suddenly turning dangerous. "Unless you have something you want to hide from me." "No." I closed the door and took a quick shower. While showering, I kept feeling like the door might be pushed open at any moment, but thankfully she didn't come in. Breakfast was eggs Benedict and fresh squeezed orange juice, takeout from a high-end hotel. While I ate, she sat opposite me, chin propped on her hands, staring intently. "Aren't you eating?" I asked. "Watching you eat is enough to fill me up." She smiled. "You look so cute when you eat, like a little squirrel." I nearly choked on my orange juice. That comparison would sound contrived coming from anyone else, but from her lips, it felt strangely fitting. After breakfast, she pulled me out the door. Her Porsche was parked downstairs, but today she didn't drive it. Instead, she pointed to a brand new BMW motorcycle. "We're riding this today." My eyes widened. "You know how to ride a motorcycle?" "Of course." She tossed me a helmet. "Just hold on to my waist tightly." The motorcycle sped through the city streets. She rode fast but steady, her long hair flying out from under her helmet. I held her waist tightly, feeling the warmth of her body and the lines of her muscles. The wind blew against my face, carrying the warmth of early summer and her perfume. For a moment, I forgot all my worries, purely enjoying the freedom and intimacy of that instant. The motorcycle finally stopped in front of a tattoo parlor. Here. I took off my helmet, my heart pounding. She parked the bike. I've always wanted to get a special tattoo, but I needed someone with me. The tattoo parlor had a simple interior, its walls covered with various designs. The owner was an uncle covered in arm tattoos. Seeing Wanqing, he greeted her warmly. Miss Sue, the design has been modified according to your requirements. She pulled out a piece of paper and showed it to me. It was an intricate geometric lock design with a letter M embedded inside. This is the initial of your name, she said softly. I want to have you etched on me forever. My throat tightened. Wanqing, this is too extreme. Shoo. She pressed a finger to my lips. This is my body, my choice. Her gaze was firm. If you truly love me, you'll respect it. The owner watched us curiously. Finally, I nodded. At least let me stay with you. She beamed, giving me a quick kiss on the lips. Of course, my Momo. The tattooing process lasted 2 hours. She held my hand the entire time and didn't even cry out in pain once. When the final piece was revealed, I held my breath. The delicate lock-shaped tattoo was located just below her ribs, the letter M positioned at the keyhole, as if her heart was truly locked away by me. Do you like it? She asked, weak but triumphant. I gently touched the skin around the tattoo, which was red, swollen, and warm. It's beautiful, but must have hurt a lot. Pain is part of love. She sat up and whispered in my ear, Now, I'm yours forever. After leaving the tattoo parlor, she insisted on going to my place. On the way, her face was pale with pain, yet she insisted on driving. When we arrived home, I helped her clean the tattoo and apply ointment, while she smiled contentedly, like a child who had received a reward. Momo, I have an idea, she said suddenly. Let's move in together. She sat up, ignoring the pain. Your lease is up next month. Move in with me. I stopped applying the ointment. This is too fast. How is it fast? She frowned. We've known each other for 5 months, been dating for 3. We know each other well. Our sex life is harmonious. She counted on her fingers. Besides, my apartment is closer to the office, and it has a gym and a swimming pool. It's not about those things. Then what is it? Her eyes turned cold. You don't want to see me every day? I took a deep breath. Wanqing, moving in together is a big step. We need more time to adjust to each other's living habits. My living habits are great, she raised her voice. I don't smoke or drink. I clean regularly, and I can cook. That's not what I meant. I tried to soothe her. Then what do you mean? She stood up, the pain from the tattoo seemingly forgotten. Mo, do you not love me at all? Her words stabbed me like a knife. I stood up and hugged her. I love you, Wanqing. That's precisely why I hope we can take things slow. She remained stiff in my arms for a moment, then suddenly softened. I'm sorry. I'm just so afraid of losing you. Her voice choked up. Every time you're out of my sight, my mind starts racing. I stroke her hair, feeling a pang of heartache. How about we try staying together for a few days first? You can stay at my place on weekends, or I can stay at yours, just to see how it feels. She looked up, her eyes brightening. Really? Then let's stay at my place this weekend. I have brand new pajamas and toiletries ready for you. Watching her expression instantly change from stormy to sunny, I found her both adorable and slightly unsettling. Su Wanqing's emotions were a volatile roller coaster, and I seemed to be gradually mastering the technique to appease her, concede, and concede again. That night, we stayed over at her place for the first time. She insisted on helping me pack, even though it was just for a weekend stay. Half the space in her wardrobe was already cleared out, and a pair of matching couple's toothbrushes sat on the bathroom counter. See, I've been preparing for a long time, she showed off proudly. Even the slippers are a matching couple set. The plush slippers were embroidered with a Q and an M, respectively, the stitches fine and clearly custom-made by hand. I couldn't deny being moved by this meticulous display of affection, even though my rational mind told me This level of possessiveness wasn't healthy. Before bed, she insisted on washing my face for me, her movements as gentle as if handling something fragile. As I lay in bed, she curled up in my arms, her fingers gently stroking the necklace around my neck. "Momo, promise me one thing," she said suddenly. "What is it?" "Never betray me." Her voice was soft, yet held a steely resolve. Or else. Or else. She looked up at me, her eyes holding a coldness I had never seen before. "Otherwise, I will destroy you with my own hands, and then I will destroy myself." This wasn't a joke, nor exaggerated sweet talk, but a serious warning. I should have been terrified, but strangely, all I felt was a pang of heartache. I kissed her forehead. "I will never betray you." She sighed contentedly, nestled against my chest, and fell asleep. I stared at the ceiling, wondering where our relationship was headed. Su Wanqing's love was like a beautiful hurricane, and I was already deep in the eye of the storm, unable and unwilling to escape. On Sunday morning, I was awakened by the scent wafting from the kitchen. Su Wanqing was making breakfast, wearing my shirt, its hem just barely covering the tops of her thighs. Sunlight streamed through the window, falling on her. That new tattoo was faintly visible in the morning glow. "Good morning." She turned back, smiling. "Fried eggs? One side or both?" The scene was so warm and ordinary, it almost made me forget last night's dark warning. I got out of bed and hugged her from behind. "Both sides." She turned and kissed me, spatula still in hand. In that moment, I allowed myself to forget all my worries, sinking into this dangerous sweetness. After a month of living together, I had gradually adapted to Su Wanqing's rhythm. Every morning, up promptly at 7. She'd make breakfast while I made coffee. In the evenings, whoever got home first prepared dinner. Weekends were for grocery shopping together. On the surface, we were like any ordinary couple, if it weren't for the necklace tracker and the hidden cameras I occasionally found. "Momo, can you grab the tablet for me?" One Saturday morning, Su Wanqing called out from the bathroom. I picked up the tablet from the coffee table. The screen suddenly lit up, displaying a split-screen surveillance feed. Our bedroom, the living room, even a live view of my workstation at the office. I froze. My finger accidentally swiped, and the screen changed to a folder filled entirely with photos of my daily life. The back of my head as I bought coffee, my profile while talking to colleagues, even shots of me watching TV alone at home. "Did you find it?" Su Wanqing walked out, toweling her hair dry. Seeing the tablet in my hands, her expression froze. "What is this?" My voice trembled. She walked over and calmly took the tablet from me. "You should have asked me first." "Ask you?" I raised my voice. "Ask you why you're spying on me?" "Ask you exactly how many cameras are installed in this apartment." 7. 2 in the living room, 2 in the bedroom, 1 in the kitchen, 1 in the study, and 1 on the balcony. Her frankness left me speechless. Sunlight filtered through the sheer curtains onto her face. That beautiful face looked utterly strange to me now. "Wanqing, this isn't right." I struggled to remain calm. "Partners need trust." "Wanqing, not surveillance." "Trust," she scoffed. "Trust? Then what about yesterday afternoon? You and that intern for marketing alone in the meeting room for half an hour. What exactly were you trusting each other with?" My eyes widened. "That was a project meeting. The whole team was supposed to be there. The others were just late." "Really?" She swiped the tablet screen and pulled up an audio recording. I heard my own voice discussing the project with the intern. Voices of other colleagues joining in were audible too, but she had deliberately edited the recording to sound ambiguous. "You hacked the company system?" I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "Just protecting what's mine." She put the tablet down and came over to hug me. "Momo, as long as you behave, none of this has to affect our life together." I push her away. "This is insane." Her expression instantly darkened. "Insane? I sacrifice everything for you, and this is your judgment?" She snatched the tablet and hurled it against the wall. The sound of the screen shattering was piercing in the quiet apartment. "Fine, let's see what real crazy looks like." She burst into the bedroom. I heard the sound of drawers being pulled open. When I followed her in, I saw her throwing my clothes into a suitcase. "What are you doing?" I grabbed her wrist. "Leave." She shook me off, her eyes bloodshot. "Since you think I'm crazy, go find a girlfriend who isn't." Wanqing, calm down. Calm down. She suddenly laughed, a chilling kind of laugh. Did you know, Momo, I have to take 3 fluoxetine pills every day just to stay calm? She took a pill bottle from the bedside table and shook it. But for you, I even stopped taking my medication because you said you would always be with me. Only then did I notice the dark circles under her eyes and her slightly trembling fingers. My heart ached as if it were being squeezed. I stepped forward and held her. I'm sorry, I didn't know. She struggled in my arms before finally breaking down, sobbing. Why do you have to push me? I just want to love you properly. We didn't eat lunch that day, just lay on the bed holding each other until sunset. She curled up in my arms like a frightened little animal, sometimes sobbing, sometimes whispering, "Don't leave me." I gently stroked her back, truly feeling the fragility beneath her bright exterior for the first time. Wanqing, I asked softly, have you seen a therapist? Her body stiffened slightly. Yes, during university. The doctor said I have. Borderline personality disorder and dependent personality disorder. Are you still in treatment now? I stopped after I met you. She looked up at me, teardrops still clinging to her eyelashes. You work better than the doctor. I kissed her forehead. Let's go see the doctor tomorrow, okay? Together. She was silent for a long time before finally giving an almost imperceptible nod. In the evening, she made my favorite braised pork ribs and lit scented candles. We ate and chatted like usual, deliberately avoiding the unpleasantness of the day. But when I stood up to clear the dishes, she suddenly hugged me from behind. Momo, I promise I'll go see the doctor. Her voice was muffled against my back. But you have to promise me one thing, too. What? Never lie to me. She tightened her arms. Whatever happens, tell me the truth. Lies. They'll make me really go crazy. I turned to face her and nodded solemnly. I promise. She smiled, that pure, sweet smile reminding me of when I first met her at the company's annual party. We fell asleep holding each other. But when I woke up in the middle of the night, I found her awake, watching me, her fingers gently tracing my features as if memorizing my outline. Why aren't you sleeping? I asked groggily. I'm afraid if I close my eyes, you'll disappear, she whispered back. On Sunday morning, Su Wanqing unusually stayed in bed late. I made breakfast and went to wake her, finding her sitting on the bed with 5 or 6 outfits spread out in front of her. Which one looks the most normal? She asked, biting her lower lip. I sat down beside her and picked up a light blue dress. This one is nice, like a sunny day. She forced a smile. I'm scared. I held her trembling hand. I'm with you, Dr. Chen's practice was in a quiet, small building on the outskirts of the city. While waiting, Su Wanqing gripped my hand tightly, her nails almost digging into my flesh. When her name was called, she suddenly shrank back. Momo, maybe another day. Dr. Chen was a kind, middle-aged woman. She walked over with a smile. Miss Su, we're just going to chat. Mr. Chen can wait for you in the waiting area, or if you agree, he can come in with you. Su Wanqing looked at me, her eyes pleading. I nodded. I'll go with you. The consulting room was furnished like a cozy living room, with French windows overlooking a lush garden. Su Wanqing sat tensely on the edge of the sofa. I held her hand, feeling her pulse race abnormally fast. Miss Su, where would you like to start today? Dr. Chen asked gently. Su Wanqing's voice was barely a whisper. I have control issues. Over the next hour, under Dr. Chen's professional guidance, Su Wanqing haltingly recounted her story. The trauma of betrayal during university, her history of self-harm, and an extreme fear of loss. I heard how she found a sense of security by monitoring me, how she had suicidal thoughts every time I came home late. Mr. Chung, Dr. Chen suddenly asked me, hearing this, how do you feel? I took a deep breath, pained and self-blame. If only I had noticed sooner. No, Su Wanqing interrupted me. It's not your fault, it's me. I'm so bad. She started to sob. Dr. Chen handed her a tissue. Miss Su, love isn't about right or wrong, good or bad. What matters is that you are willing to face this together. As we left, Su Wanqing received a new prescription and an appointment card for next week. She clutched the prescription tightly, like a lifeline. The doctor said, I'm not a monster, she said softly after getting into the car. I leaned over and hugged her. You never were. She buried her face in my shoulder, her voice muffled. I'll get better, Momo. Give me time. We have all the time in the world. I kissed the top of her head gently. On the way home, we stopped in front of a flower shop. Su Wanqing chose a small succulent plant. It symbolizes rebirth. She held the plant, her eyes shimmering with a glimmer of hope. In the following days, Su Wanqing took her medication on time every day and saw Dr. Chun every week. The changes were slow but visible. She dismantled the 2 cameras in our home. She allowed me to meet friends alone. She even offered to let me take off the tracking necklace, although I refused because it seemed to give her a sense of security. Momola, one Friday evening, she excitedly showed me her phone. Dr. Chun said I can enter the maintenance therapy phase now. I picked her up and spun her around. That's wonderful. Blushing, she patted me. Put me down. I made a cake to celebrate. That weekend, we went for a picnic in the countryside. Su Wanqing prepared a basket full of goodies and even brought a lemon cake she had baked herself. In the sunlight, she laughed so naturally, the laugh lines at the corners of her eyes captivating me. Look, there's a butterfly over there, she suddenly pointed nearby. A small blue butterfly rested on a wildflower. I looked at her focused profile and suddenly realized this was the real Su Wanqing, not the girl who used monitoring and control to mask her fear, but an ordinary person who could find joy in simple beauty. On the drive home, she drove, humming a tune, her fingers tapping a rhythm on the steering wheel. While waiting at a red light, she suddenly turned to look at me. Momo, thank you for not giving up on me. I held her hand. Never. That evening, we tried the trust exercise recommended by Dr. Chun for the first time. I went to a late-night movie alone while she stayed home, practicing managing her anxiety. Before I left, she took the tracking necklace off my neck, her hands trembling slightly. You can do this. I kissed her forehead. I'll be back in 2 hours. The movie was great, but I thought about her the entire time. When I got home, the apartment was dark, except for a faint light coming from a bedroom. I crept inside quietly and found her curled up asleep on the bed, clutching my pillow. There were tear tracks on her face, but the medicine bottle on the nightstand hadn't been touched. She had gotten through those 2 hours on her own strength. I lay down gently and gathered her into my arms. She murmured my name in her sleep, snuggling deeper into my arms. In that moment, I felt an unprecedented sense of contentment. We were conquering her inner demons together. Chung Yemo, the director specifically requested your involvement in the marketing department's new project. My department manager told me on Monday morning, meeting with their team today at 2 p.m. I nodded, but my heart sank. Ever since the recording incident, Su Wanqing had been particularly sensitive about the marketing department, especially that intern, Shaolin. Although her condition had improved significantly in recent months, I didn't want to risk upsetting her. During lunch break, I sent her a message. I'm craving your braised fish tonight. Is that okay? She quickly replied, Sure, I'll buy fish after work. What's the occasion? Just missed you. I didn't mention the meeting, deciding to explain in person tonight. The afternoon meeting went smoothly. Shaolin was indeed present, but our interaction remained strictly professional throughout. The meeting ended at 5:40 p.m. I quickly gathered my things, ready to leave, but Shaolin stopped me. Brother Chung, could I take a minute of your time? She shyly handed me a USB drive. These are the reference materials you mentioned last time. Thanks. I took the USB drive. But in the future, just email things like this to me. She nodded. Understood. It's just Director Su. What about her? I became alert. Nothing. Shaolin quickly shook her head. It's just, everyone in the company knows about your relationship, so people are very careful. I gave a wry smile. Sorry to have inconvenienced you all. Leaving the meeting room, my phone vibrated. It was Su Wanqing. Got the fish. What time will you be home? I replied, just finished the meeting, heading back now. After sending the message, I suddenly remembered the USB drive still in my pocket. On impulse, I opened it on my work computer. Besides the project materials, there was another folder named for Brother Chung. Clicking it open, my blood ran cold. Inside were Shaolin's personal photos and a video confession. I immediately deleted the folder, but the monitoring software might have already sent all of this to Su Wanqing. I grabbed my phone and rushed out, only to bump into her in the lobby. Wanqing, what are you? She was holding shopping bags, a smile on her face. Wanted to surprise you. Can I pick you up from work? Her gaze fell on the USB drive in my hand. What's that? Project materials. I forced myself to remain calm. Let's go home, I'm hungry. She didn't move, her eyes gradually turning cold. Momo, do you remember what you promised me? To never lie to you. My throat tightened. Wanqing, can we talk about this at home? Give me the USB drive. She held out her hand, her voice terrifyingly calm. I knew the decision in this moment would determine our future. Taking a deep breath, I handed her the USB drive. There's a confession inside, but I didn't know about it. I just found it and deleted it. She stared into my eyes, seemingly judging my sincerity. Then she suddenly tossed the USB drive into a nearby trash can. Let's go, the fish will get cold. On the way home, she was unusually silent. I tried to explain about the meeting, but she just nodded without comment. It wasn't until we entered the apartment that she put down the shopping bags, turned, and hugged me tightly. I'm sorry. Her voice choked. I almost lost control again just now. But I want to trust you. I hugged her back. You did very well. Really? She looked up at me, her eyes full of vulnerability. I didn't scream or shout, didn't check your phone. Dr. Chen said, this is progress. Huge progress. I kissed her forehead. I'm proud of you. She smiled through her tears. Then what are you waiting for? Go cook. I bought the sea base you like. During dinner, she took the initiative to ask about the meeting details, even joking that Xiaolin had good taste. This relaxed attitude was unimaginable just a few months ago. After dinner, we washed the dishes together. She hummed a tune, occasionally tapping my nose with a soapy hand. By the way, she said suddenly, drying the last plate, I have an idea. What is it? Let's get a cat. Her eyes sparkled. The doctor said pet therapy could help me, and she blushed. I want to take care of a little life together with you. My heart warmed. Okay, want to go look at the shelter this weekend? She nodded happily, then smiled mysteriously. Actually, I've already picked one out. She took out her phone to show me a picture, a little orange kitten with big green eyes. Its name is Orange, and it'll be ready for adoption in 3 weeks. I smiled and shook my head. So you acted first and told me later. You don't like it? She asked, suddenly nervous. I like it. I hugged her, especially seeing you look so happy. That night before bed, she took out a notebook. Dr. Chen asked me to record my daily mood changes. She opened it to show me. Inside were neat records of her emotional fluctuations, methods for controlling impulses, and reflections on her progress. Almost lost control today, but didn't, she wrote seriously. Because Momo is trustworthy. Watching her focus profile, I suddenly realized this relationship was no longer about one-sided salvation. We were both growing, both learning how to love and be loved healthily. The day we adopted Orange, the sun was shining brightly. At the shelter, the little orange kitten rubbed against Su Wanqing the moment it saw her, meowing, asking to be held. It likes you, the staff member said with a smile. Su Wanqing carefully picked up the kitten, her movements as gentle as if holding a treasure. Orange purred contentedly in her arms, its little paws pawing at her collar. This is the one. She looked up at me, her eyes full of joy. Is it okay, Momo? I nodded, reaching out to stroke the kitten's head. Orange tilted its head, rubbing against my finger, the soft touch warming my heart. While handling the paperwork, the staff member explained the details of cat care. Su Wanqing listened with exceptional attention, even taking notes, her focused expression making her look like she was listening to an important meeting. Is this your first time owning a pet, Miss Su? The staff member asked with a smile. Yes, she nodded, then corrected. It's our first time. On the way home, Orange stayed obediently in the pet carrier, occasionally letting out faint meows. Su Wanqing kept looking back to check, afraid it was uncomfortable. Will it like our home? She asked nervously. It will. I held her hand. With such an attentive mother like you, it's sure to be happy. She blushed and said softly, we're its mom and dad then. Once home, we followed the guide step by step to let Orange get familiar with the environment. The little one adapted quickly, hopping around exploring every corner before finally falling asleep on Su Wanqing's lap. It's so small, so fragile. She gently stroked Orange's fur, her voice soft. We need to protect it well. Seeing her gentle expression, I couldn't resist leaning over to kiss her cheek. You're a natural good mother. She blushed even harder, but straightened up proudly. Of course, I'll be the best cat mom, Anne. She stopped abruptly, her gaze drifting. And what? I asked curiously. Nothing. She lowered her head to play with the cat, but her ears were bright red. At night, Orange slept in the cat bed prepared specially for him. But we woke up in the middle of the night to find he had somehow climbed onto the bed, curled up in the crook of Sue Wanching's neck, his little paws resting on her chin. Looks like he's chosen his favorite person, I chuckled softly. Sue Wanching gently stroked the kitten, her eyes shimmering with a maternal glow. Momo, I never thought I could take care of a little life. This feeling is so amazing. You're doing great. I kissed her forehead. We're both doing great. Orange's arrival brought a new rhythm to our lives. Every morning, Sue Wanching would feed the cat before making breakfast. The first thing she did after coming home from work was play with the cat. In the evening, Orange always loved to lie on her lap while she read. My phone quickly filled up with photos of her and the cat. The way she smiled holding Orange, so gentle, unlike the aloof female director she once was. One weekend morning, I was awakened by sunlight and soft sounds. Opening my eyes, I saw Sue Wanching sitting on the bay window seat, Orange in her arms, whispering something softly to the cat. The sunlight gilded them with a golden edge, beautiful like a painting. I quietly picked up my phone and captured the scene. When she noticed, she held out her hand to me. Cool, me. I joined them, the three of us squeezing together on the bay window seat, looking at the scenery outside. Orange playfully pawed at my fingers, while Sue Wanching leaned against my shoulder. Momo, she said suddenly, I stopped taking my medication 2 weeks ago. I looked at her, surprised. Did the doctor approve? Yes. She nodded. Dr. Chen said my progress is far beyond expectations. She squeezed my hand. It's all because of you. No, it's your own hard work, I said earnestly. She shook her head. You made me believe that love doesn't need control to last. She held up our clasped hands. Look, I'm not wearing a ring, but I know you won't leave. Her words warmed my heart. Orange seemed to sense the atmosphere, meowed, and jumped to the floor, leaving us some private space. Sue Wanching turned to face me, her expression suddenly tense. Momo, there's something I wanted to ask you for a long time. What is it? She took out a small box from under the bay window cushion. Opening it revealed a pair of simple platinum rings. Will you be my family? Not in a cat parent way, but really. I was stunned. Sunlight shone on the pair of rings, making them sparkle. Her eyes sparkled too, filled with anticipation and apprehension. Is this a proposal? I asked softly. Yes. She bit her lip. I know traditionally the man proposes, but I wanted to do it myself, because you pulled me out of the darkness, gave me a home. Her voice started to tremble. If you think it's too soon, we can. I cut her off with a kiss. Her lips were soft and warm, carrying the unique sweetness of the morning. When we pulled apart, her eyes were brimming with tears. I do, I said, pressing my forehead against hers. A million times yes. She laughed through her tears, her hands trembling as she put the ring on my finger. I put the other ring on hers, and then we intertwined our fingers, the two rings gleaming brightly in the sunlight. I love you, Wanching, I whispered. All versions of you. I love you too, she leaned against my chest. More than you know. Orange had jumped back up at some point, squeezing between us and meowing discontentedly, as if protesting being ignored. We looked at each other and smiled, stroking his little head together. A family of 3, Sue Wanching sighed happily. Our wedding was held on the first anniversary of the day we met. There was no grand ceremony, only our closest friends and family, and the indispensable Orange, wearing a custom-made bow tie, sitting proudly in the arms of the best man, Zhang Ming. Sue Wanching wore a simple, elegant white wedding dress. She hadn't put her long hair up, letting it fall naturally instead. As she walked towards me on her father's arm, sunlight filtering through the leaves cast dappled patterns of light and shadow on her. She was so beautiful it took my breath away. Nervous? She whispered to me as we exchanged rings. A little, I admitted honestly, my fingers trembling slightly. She smiled and squeezed my hand. Don't worry, I won't kidnap you at the wedding. It was our first joke about the past, and I knew it meant she had truly stepped out of the shadows. As I kissed the bride, Orange suddenly jumped down to our feet, sparking a wave of warm laughter. At the reception, Su Wanqing, casting aside her usual reserve, proactively went around to toast and thank each guest. When she hugged Dr. Chun, I saw the doctor whisper something in her ear that made her eyes well up. What did the doctor say? I asked her later. She said the way I fought for my own happiness was beautiful, Su Wanqing said, leaning against my shoulder. She also said I'd found the best medicine. We went to the Maldives for our honeymoon, leaving Orange temporarily in Zhongming's care. On the white sandy beach, Su Wanqing, dressed in a swimsuit, chased little fish in the shallows, her laughter as clear and bright as a little girl's. That evening, as we lay on the beach watching the stars, she suddenly said, Imo, I want a baby. I turned to look at her. In the moonlight, her expression was earnest and hopeful. Are you sure? She nodded. I know my situation, but Dr. Chin says I'm ready. She took my hand. I want to experience more with you. The happiness of ordinary life. 3 months later, when the pregnancy test showed 2 red lines, Su Wanqing cried for a full hour, tears of joy. She immediately began devouring parenting books and even signed up for prenatal classes, approaching it with the seriousness of preparing for her most important project. During her pregnancy, her moods fluctuated occasionally, but they were much milder than before. Whenever she felt anxious, she would take my hand and place it on her gently swelling belly. Feel that. Our baby is growing. On the day of the delivery, I stayed with her in the delivery room the entire time. When she finally gave birth to our daughter, and the nurse placed the tiny, red little being on her chest, she cried like a child. She's so perfect, Su Wanqing murmured, exhausted but blissful. Just like you. I kissed her sweat-dampened forehead. No, like you. Just as beautiful and strong. We named our daughter Chung Qing, signifying a clear, bright sky. After little Qing was born, Su Wanqing resigned from her director position and started her own psychological counseling practice, specializing in helping professional women with emotional regulation issues. I want to use my own experiences to help others, she told her first client. You can walk out of the darkness, as long as you find the right light. Meanwhile, I was promoted to technical lead, which gave me more flexible working hours, allowing me to spend more time with my family. Every day, when I came home from work, seeing Su Wanqing holding little Qing and basking in the sun on the balcony, with Orange curled up at their feet, filled me with a sense of simple contentment. On little Qing's first birthday, we threw a small party. Su Wanqing made a cat-shaped cake, and little Qing excitedly dug her hands into the frosting, smearing it all over her face. After the party, exhausted but happy, we collapsed onto the sofa. Orange seized the opportunity to sneak bites of the leftover cake. Imo, Su Wanqing said suddenly. Do you remember the first time we met? The company's annual party. You got drunk, I recalled with a smile. No. She shook her head, a mischievous glint in her eyes. A month before that, the elevator malfunctioned, and you held the door for me and some other colleagues. I looked at her in surprise. That was you. She nodded. Back then, I was thinking, who is this gentle guy? So I specifically looked up your information, arranged the seating at the annual party. She winked playfully. Even getting drunk was part of the plan. What? My eyes widened. You mean? I never actually get drunk. She leaned against my shoulder, saying smugly, I just created an opportunity for myself to get close to you. I was speechless. Recalling all the little moments leading up to this, I suddenly realized I might have fallen into a meticulously crafted, gentle trap right from start. So, I slowly processed this information. I was the one being hunted. She smiled without answering, just leaned in and gave me a sweet kiss. Orange jumped onto the sofa, squeezing between us. Xiao Qing babbled in her crib, and sunlight streamed through the curtains, falling on us. In that moment, all the control and craziness, the fear and unease, melted away into the most ordinary and precious happiness. I knew the future might still hold challenges, but as long as we were together, every tomorrow would be a sunny day. End of text.